Rated M for mature.
Anybody can step into the boots of Carl Fairburn, but it takes true dedication to actually embody the sniper elite. From proper stealth to advanced sniping and beyond, these are the 5 things every sniper elite player needs to know. Be sure to stick around till the end to have the best chance of survival.
You made it.
The view to a kill. First things first, let's talk about traversal. Sniper Elite 5's traversal mechanics are a major upgrade over previous games, and now Carl has more ways to get around a mission than ever before. Thankfully, the game's level design makes the most of this upgrade. You'll notice that some buildings and cliffsides have vines or roots growing out of them at certain locations. These features are far more than just visual flair, as Carl can use these to climb to higher ground and get a better view of any situation. Always keep your eye out for climbable features so you can locate the best vantage points in the game. Sniping secrets. Now, let's talk about sniping. It's the name of the game, after all. After you've used all of Carl's new abilities to gain your vantage point, you should have no problem getting a lay of the land. It's at this point that most players will take out their rifles and look for their prey. But we're gonna pump the brakes on that for just a bit. We recommend not going for your rifle right away. What are you saying? It's okay, hear me out. Sure, rifle scopes can get you the view you need, but they also can reflect light and give away your position. You don't want all that climbing to be wasted, and neither do we. So what you should do is use your binoculars to do some recon before you start sniping. You can use your binoculars to check things out, make note of interactables like explosives, and tag enemies. You should know that tagged enemies can be seen through walls, so you can track their movements at all times. Now that your enemies are marked, you're ready to start taking them down. Depending on the difficulty you're playing on and the distance of your targets, you'll have to take wind and gravity into consideration when planning your shots. If you don't plan accordingly, the headshot you lined up might just turn into a testicle shot, which, can also be cool. But don't forget, you can use those distance markers on some scopes to compensate for those long shots. And this last piece of advice is common knowledge for the Sniper Elite franchise, but it's worth repeating. Use empty lung. It'll steady your hand and make landing shots easier. Just don't hold your breath too long, or else the weapon sway will be even worse for a short time. Sound masking. What do all sniper rifles have in common? They're very loud. And if you've ever shot one without proper ear protection, I'll repeat that. They're very loud! Thankfully though, that doesn't mean your first shot will always give away your position. Every weapon in Sniper Elite 5 has an audio range, meaning the distance at which its sound can be heard. Whenever you're at a workbench, we recommend taking note of these distances for your weapons of choice. Now, with that information in hand, you can whip out those binoculars again to tell you how far away a target is and whether or not nearby enemies will be able to hear your shot. If it's impossible to avoid firing within a target's audio range, you can still hide the sound from them. You just need a bigger, louder sound. Check this out. Some Sniper Elite 5 levels will have power generators, other features that allow you to mask the sound of your rifle, if you time it right. This method is a little tricky, and it's not for the impatient, but if you're a pro, you know it's very effective. Invisible Assassin. While you can technically play Sniper Elite 5 as a guns-blazing action game, it's not the ideal way to play, and you'll also likely find yourself facing a game over screen more than you would like. There's a simple solution to this issue though, and it's just to play the game as it was intended. Sneaky, stealthy, and mostly silent. The more you're able to stay hidden and avoid detection, the less likely you'll become overwhelmed by enemy forces. Staying low and either crouch walking or crawling while making sure there are walls or some kind of cover between you and your enemies is going to be your primary tactic. But you can also make use of tall grass to conceal yourself when it's available. Anything you can do to stay out of an enemy's line of sight, do it! Also, leaving handled enemies and their weapons where they lie is a recipe for disaster. All it takes is one patrolling enemy to come across a dead body, and you've landed yourself in an alert phase. Move these bodies out of the way and hide them whenever you can. Prioritize the mission. Now listen up, this might be a downer for some of you bloodthirsty players, but it's gonna be important if you want to make it through to the end. You hear me, Private? Always put the mission first. God damn it! I really wanted to make sure that point got across, because you might be tempted to make sure every single enemy in an area is dispatched, especially when they present an opportunity for a grisly X-ray moment. But it's not always necessary. Sometimes it's worth leaving some bad guys behind so you can move forward to complete the objective. As long as you're heeding our advice as you make your way to the objective, odds are that those patrols that you so mercifully spared won't cause you any trouble. Today's your lucky day because we got a bonus. Set traps. Surprise, We have one more thing you should know, and it's that traps can be lifesavers. Depending on your playstyle, you might find yourself picking off targets from a location that is easily accessible to enemies. To make sure that nobody interrupts you, take the time to set traps like landmines, trip mines up to your sniper perch. This will give you several layers of protection, and trust me, you'll know when it's time to move again. Those were 5 things every Sniper Elite 5 player should know, plus a little bonus. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, consider leaving us a like. You can also check out our other great content and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. We have plenty more Sniper Elite videos coming and you won't want to miss those. See you sharpshooters next time.